automated SAP Cloud Foundry login, full support of the SAP Cloud Application Programming Model, and Node.js, TypeScript and Java already pre-installed. If you're new on here, hey, I'm Robert, and in this video I show you how we build our SAP Business Technology Platform development container for Visual Studio Code. If you like this content, please click the like button, the subscribe button and the notification bell below so that you guys can keep up to date with all of our videos. Now without further ado, let's get to it!
In this live demo, I show you how you easily can run your SAP apps in our SAP BTP development container. I will demonstrate this with the sample applications that come with CAP, which is the SAP Cloud Application Programming Model. We click on Getting Started and we open the sample project here. This opens a new browser tab with the SAP Cloud CAP samples. We scroll down to the README section, and here you can see that usually without the development container you would need to install node.js and the CDS development kit in order to be able to run these samples. With our development container you simply can skip these steps and continue with download and setup as described here. Here in my Visual Studio development environment I've already downloaded and installed the SAP CAP samples. This monorepo comes with several sample apps like Bookshop, Fiori or Hello World. And I've also copied our devcontainer definition into it, which I will show you later in detail. But now let's run this monorepo in our development container. For this purpose we open View Command Palette and here we choose Remote Containers, Open Folder in Container. Here we choose the Cloud CAP Samples directory and click OK. This starts the development container and it logs us into the development container. Here in our terminal window we immediately can see which SAP tools and development languages are installed in our development container. Here we can see that the Cloud Foundry CLI and also the CAP CLI is installed. And here we can see that also the development languages TypeScript, Node.js, Java and Maven is installed. Furthermore, we automatically log you into the SAP Cloud Foundry, and for security reasons we obscure your credentials with stars. Here you can see that we even obscure the username in the Cloud Foundry response, which says that the Cloud Foundry login was successful. In order to manually verify that our required tools are installed here in this container, we can run some commands here in the command line. cf-v displays the version of the Cloud Foundry. cds-v displays the version of the development kit that comes with CAP. Node-v displays the version of Node.js. tsc-v displays the version of TypeScript. Java-version displays the Java version. And mvn-v displays the version of Maven. All of these languages and tools can be defined in the devcontainer.json file, which is located in the devcontainer directory. In this directory you can also find our custom scripts that, for example, logs you in to the Cloud Foundry automatically. But now let's try to run some samples from the Cloud CAP samples repo. First we run the Hello World example as described in the README. We change in the Hello directory and now we can run the Node.js implementation with CDS watch. Then we can open a browser with the Hello World service as described here in the README section. So we click on this link here. This opens a browser. And here we can see that this service outputs the value hello world. Now let's stop the node.js sample. Now let's try the same with the TypeScript implementation of hello world. We type cds-ts watch. And then we click on this link here again. This opens a browser again, but this time the value is hello world from a TypeScript file. Let's try a more sophisticated Fiori app. So we change into the Fiori directory and we will check if this works as well by running cds watch again. Here we click again on this link, which opens the browser window. Here we click on Fiori apps. And here we click on browse books. And we can see that the Fiori apps work as well. Let's have a closer look on how we built this devcontainer. The devcontainer directory contains several important files and directories. The devcontainer.json file, the SAP.Dockerfile, the .env file, and the script directories. The devcontainer.json file contains the build parameters that are required to build the Docker image, but it also contains runtime parameters that are required to build, run, and customize the container. In the build section, we define the Docker file, which is used to build the Docker image, and here we provide the build arguments. Here we specify based on which Linux variant we want to build our container image. Here we specify the node.js version. Here we specify if we also want to install TypeScript. Here we specify the Java version. And here we specify if we also want to install Maven and Gradle or not. In the VS Code extension section, we specify which SAP extensions for Visual Studio Code we want to install. We can verify that these extensions are installed in our devcontainer by clicking on View Command Palette and entering SAP, for example. And then here we can see, for example, that the Fiori extensions are installed. Here we specify the user with which we want to connect to the container. And here we specify the arguments with which we want to run the container. We specify the env file, which passes in the environment variables to the container. Here I show you a .env sample file where you can see how you can pass in your Cloud Foundry credentials to the container. And here you can specify if you want to obscure the credentials in the output or not. Here we switch the userEnvProbe shell from login interactive shell to login shell. We do this to prevent the execution of our custom scripts on user environment probes. Now we switch to the SAP Dockerfile and we can see that we run several steps here. First we install the required Debian version. Then we install node.js and optionally TypeScript. Then we install Java and optionally Maven and Gradle. Then we install the Cloud Foundry CLI and our custom scripts for the Cloud Foundry login. Then we install the command line client and development toolkit for SAP CAP. And finally we clean up the final image. And here you can see a quick walkthrough on how we implemented these steps. That's all for today, and thank you for watching.